Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping ahead to 2026 to see what AT&T is cooking up for our home internet. You know, with everything we do online, is it going to be enough to power our lives? Let's dig in and find out.
I mean, seriously, think about it. Our homes are basically data centers now, right? We're streaming 4K movies, we're in intense online gaming battles. Some of us are even running entire businesses from the kitchen table. So the big question is, can our internet actually handle all that? Let's see if AT&T has the answer for 2026.
All right, so looking ahead to 2026, AT&T's strategy basically boils down to two main paths to get you online. And which one you can get, well, that's going to depend entirely on where you live. It's really that classic choice. Do you go for the raw, wired speed or the go-anywhere flexibility of wireless?
So here are the two contenders. Over on one side, you've got AT&T Fiber. This is the heavy hitter, a wired connection that runs a physical fiber optic cable right into your house for, well, just insane speeds. Then, on the other side, you have AT&T Internet Air. This is their wireless play, using that powerful 5G network to get you online. Two totally different approaches, so let's break down who each one is really for.
Okay, first up, let's talk about AT&T's crown jewel, fiber. And let me be clear, this isn't just a small step up from your old internet. We're talking about a completely different league of performance, one that's designed to make your old connection feel like dial-up.
So what's the big deal with fiber anyway? What makes it so special? Well, it all comes down to the tech itself. See, instead of pushing electrical signals through old-school copper wires, fiber optics use, get this, light. It sends data as pulses of light through these super thin glass strands, and that's exactly why it's so incredibly, mind-blowingly fast and reliable.
But here's the thing that a lot of people miss. Fiber isn't just about downloading movies faster. One of its biggest, and I mean biggest advantages is something called symmetrical speeds. That means your upload speeds are just as fast as your download speeds. So if you're on Zoom calls all day, uploading huge files for work, or maybe you're a streamer, this is an absolute game changer. You'll feel the difference for sure.
And you're going to hear AT&T throw around this term, hyper-gig speeds. And no, it's not just some fancy marketing buzzword. They're talking about a level of internet performance that can handle literally everything you throw at it. A whole house full of smart TVs, phones, laptops, and game consoles, all running at full tilt, at the same time without even a hiccup.
So what does that actually look like in terms of plans? Let's take a look. They start you off at a really solid 300 megabits per second. Honestly, that's plenty for most families for streaming and browsing. But then you get into those hyper gig tiers. The 1 gig plan? That's for the power user family, you know, where you've got multiple 4K streams and online gaming happening at once. And those 2 and 5 gig plans? Whoa, that's pro level stuff. We're talking content creators, people moving massive files, anyone who just needs the absolute best and can't afford any lag.
Okay, but let's be real. Not everyone can get fiber run to their house. So what happens if you check your address and you're not in a fiber area? Does that mean you're out of luck? Well, no, don't worry. AT&T has another solution up its sleeve. Let's take a look at their wireless alternative.
All right, say hello to AT&T Internet Air. The easiest way to wrap your head around this is to think of it like a giant, super-powered 5G hotspot just for your house. It taps into AT&T's powerful 5G cell network to create a dedicated internet connection for all your devices. And because it's 5G, it's fast, it's responsive, and probably the best part, absolutely no technicians drilling holes or running cables to your door.
And this is really the key takeaway here. Internet Air is AT&T's answer for bringing modern, fast internet to all those places where fiber just hasn't reached yet. It's all about expanding their coverage map and giving more people a shot at a high-speed connection without having to wait for crews to lay down new cables in their neighborhood.
Of course, you know, all this amazing tech is great, but it all comes down to one thing for a lot of us, right? The price. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. What's this actually going to cost, and what kind of deals is AT&T putting on the table?
So this is the number you're going to see everywhere in the ads, $35 a month. And yeah, for their main fiber plan, that's a fantastic deal. But you got to look at the details, right? It's a promotional price, so it's for your first year. And that price includes discounts like signing up for autopay. Just something to keep in mind.
Now this right here is probably the biggest way to save. If you're already an AT&T wireless customer, or if you're thinking about switching, this is a huge perk. You can bundle your home internet, and this works for both fiber and Internet Air, with an eligible wireless plan, and they'll knock a whopping 20% off your monthly internet bill. That adds up fast.
Okay, one really important thing to know about getting fiber, it's not like Internet Air where you just plug it in. Because it's a physical line to your house, you'll need a professional technician to come out and do the installation. And it can take a few hours, typically a 4 to 6 hour window. So you'll definitely need to plan ahead and block out some time for that appointment.
In that installation process, it's pretty involved. The technician is going to physically run a brand new fiber optic line right to your house. Then they'll get you set up with a new Wi-Fi gateway, that's the modem and router combo, to make sure every device in your home can take advantage of that incredible new speed.
All right, so we've looked at the technology, we've gone over the different speeds, and we've talked about the costs. Now, it's time for the final verdict. How do you decide if an AT&T plan is the right move for you?
You know, it really boils down to this. If you can get AT&T Fiber at your address, and you're a household that needs that top-tier, no-compromise speed for things like 4K streaming, competitive gaming, or uploading big files, then it's the premium choice, hands down. But if fiber isn't an option where you live, and you've got good 5G coverage, then Internet Air is a really solid and frankly super simple modern alternative. But at the end of the day, and I can't stress this enough, it all comes down to where you live. You can sit here and compare speeds and prices all day long, but none of it matters if they don't offer the service at your specific address. That is the single most important factor, period.
So what's the bottom line here? It's simple. Before you get your hopes up for 5 gig speeds, the very first thing you need to do is go to AT&T's website and plug in your address. That's it. That's the ultimate test. It's the only way you're going to know which of these 2 internet pads is actually at your doorstep waiting for you to plug in.